Pretty cool, I guess. This shit. God damn. This right here is some movie shit. And it's real life.
Plane found in the mountains north of Tonopah could belong to a missing pilot. Michael Martin went missing after taking off from the North Las Vegas airport on January 2nd. His plane vanished and stopped transmitting its location.
Imagine a family whose husband and father just vanishes into thin air.
He left out of North Las Vegas airport and then never made it back.
Well, that's exactly what happened with Michael Martin of Las Vegas, Nevada. He jumped in his small single-engine Piper airplane and went for a flight without telling anybody.
No one knew he was in the air that day.
Michael's family grew concerned enough that they reported him missing to local authorities.
When we hadn't heard from Dad in a while, we had filed missing persons.
That missing person report kicked off a massive search of all the terrain in and around Tonopah, Nevada, and Mount Jefferson. The search consisted of aerial assets, ground crews, and people from all over the country doing whatever they could to help this family find their missing father.
The phone calls came in from the U.S. Air Force.
The sheriff's office is hoping to get some help from the National Guard.
So we've gotten good news. We found the plane.
He's located the wreckage on Saturday.
And then bad news, we can't get to him.
But rough terrain and strong winds have delayed access to the crash site.
It's a nightmare. Don't know what to do. You can't do anything. Your hands are tied.
Crews could only get within 3 to 4 miles of the plane.
Search efforts had been suspended earlier this week.
Everyone backed out at the last minute.
It would be weeks before it would be possible to recover a body.
We don't know if he's in the plane or not yet.
But at the very, very least, we want to know where he is. We need to be able to bring him home.
Sitting ducks waiting for that phone to ring, and
got
that's
no
when you
lips.
guys came in.
We began to get more and more emails and messages from many people asking us to get involved.
And that's when
got
Dave Sparks
pencil
had
line.
reached out. We're very thankful, and he was the answer to our prayer.
Michael and his airplane were going to be left on that mountain for an uncertain amount of time, leaving this family with all sorts of questions, wondering what happened to him. Was he okay? Was he there? We knew at that moment we had to help.
What does it mean to bring Michael home?
Everything. We've been married 40 years, and I'm going to miss him. And I appreciate you guys bringing him home to us.
Don't worry, Granny. They got that.
So once I made the decision that we were going to jump in and help this family, I got a hold of Michael's daughter, Katie, and got all the information we could regarding what had happened, where he was, what the exact location was, and what were the challenges that all of the existing rescue crews and search parties had encountered. And once we got their approval, we jumped into action.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Beg you to please be with us, bless and protect us. Please bless the family, they'll be comforted. Please bless the aircraft to be able to function properly. We're grateful for all these things.
And we've made it to Mike's airplane. So, kind of a somber feeling, knowing that he was here doing something that he loved, and now we're here to retrieve him and bring him back to his family.
Of having people rappel out of the helicopter to be able to access the crash, where instead we could just land on top of the mountain and the ground crew could hike down a few hundred feet to be able to get to the crash site.
Yo, bro, back your ass up.
We can pick our way down through these boulders, and then just traverse over.
We'll get the load, the tools set, to sling load in, get you guys traversing down to the site. We will pick up the tools from the line, come around through this little bend here, get as close to you as we can.
Okay.
Grab my crampons to that tool thing.
Nigga, if I see rocks moving, I'm not getting on the mountain. In a way in hell, I'm getting on that mountain. If I see rocks moving, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
We hiked down the ridge and we've made it to Mike's airplane. So, kind of a somber feeling, knowing that he was here doing something that he loved, and now we're here to retrieve him and bring him back to his family. It's a pretty gnarly cliff face in a really pretty cool canyon, cool pocket right here, but now we gotta figure out how we're gonna get it out. All right. Gnarly wreck.
We prepared all of our rescue equipment, rigging, straps, and supplies into one bundle, which I then picked up with the helicopter.
All right, generator's coming on. Nice and slow. Towards 57, 56, I'll be calling it out for you. 75, 55, 56. Nice and easy, small movements. Okay, load is up. Okay. Load is up. Load's looking good. Speed is 30. We'll just kind of keep that climbing about 200 feet per minute. But looking good. TGT is good. 50% torque. Engines are good. Okay. All right. Proceed to the site.
He hovers right over us, but I'll put his goggles back on. He's about 200 yards out that way.
All right, the big issue we're going to have here is because we're facing into the wind is our tail rotor and the cliff behind us. Hook is armed. Slowly working it, and if holding steady, your VSI is looking good. Slow down, we're gonna hover. All right, I'm all right. We're about on top of them. Okay. I have eyes on them. Okay. Left. Hold that center. Hold that. Run. You're good. Center, swing. Tail's good. Tail's good. Down. Tail's good. Hold. Come right. Forward. 3, 2, 1. Hold. Down and contact on snow. Hold that.
There he comes.
And slack is free. I'm letting go. Punching it. Watch the hook. Move left as you punch. Hook is free. Line is clear. All right, hook is coming safe. Hell yeah, boys. Hell yeah.
What the cameraman doing?
And we had hovered over the side of the cliff and was able to drop essentially right next to our ground crew so they had all the supplies they needed without having to haul 300, 400 pounds worth of gear down this precarious mountainside.
That's smart.
We returned to the top of the mountain and landed.
Nice work, dude. That was awesome.
Where we then got in communication with our ground crew to get an understanding of what they were seeing and what game plan we needed to make to be able to get everything off the mountain. It was at that time that the ground crew advised us that they had found the body of Michael and that they were preparing it and putting it in a body bag.
Yeah, I've got him.
Okay. Good to go. We've got the body.
Roger that. I'm going to notify the sheriff. We got the body now.
Copy that.
It's definitely an interesting moment. Anytime you recover a body, I mean, for me, it's like it's very reverent energy, very calming, to be honest with you. It's not scary. It doesn't feel morbid. It doesn't feel, gruesome, even though obviously the guys are down there picking up frozen body parts. It's just a very reverent thing. You're bringing the guy home. He's been up here for a few weeks, and his family has no idea what his status is, and now they're going to be able to get that closure. So kind of a surreal.
I get that. Like if it happened some crazy way, like oh my god, that nigga just got his head chopped off in front of me out of nowhere. That's like, yo, what's wrong with this nigga? But then, oh shit, I just found this nigga. They don't look too crazy. R.I.P. You know what I'm saying?
He was a self-made man. If he wanted to learn something, he did. He was very brilliant.
Great father-in-law. Oh my. I wasn't expecting that.
He was a self-made man. If he wanted to learn something, he did. He was very brilliant.
Great father-in-law. He welcomed me into the family like I was his own. Treated me that way since day one. So
He would fly cancer patients and burn victims anywhere they needed to go.
He lived riding his motorcycle and flying, kayaking. He was an outdoorsy man. From being a handyman, so he'd read something, he'll build it. You know, never knew what he was going to do next.
Always kept us on the edge of our seat. Always had something new he was working on.
6 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, so we'll keep his memory alive for them.
1, 2, 3.
Once that was secured, we set the body bag aside and the crew began to rig up the airplane so that we could lift out as much of the wreckage as we possibly could. After about 2 hours of rigging and prepping, our ground crew radioed us to let us know that the load was ready to be lifted.
Everything was good across the board. I got the 37% torque and will hold my altitude, head this direction.
The plan was to lift everything out in one single trip.
Good camera work. The reason we got involved with this recovery was due to the fact that the family had completely run out of options. All of the state and local authorities essentially had to call off their search because either resources were limited, the terrain was too challenging, there was no aircraft capable of even accessing the crash site, let alone recovering the aircraft or the pilot's remains. And I knew that we had the aircraft and the crew capable of performing this mission. I'd like to extend a special thank you to everybody who rallied together to help make this happen. From the Nye County Sheriff's Office, Nye County Emergency Management, State of Nevada Emergency Management, local firefighters, our contacts at the NTSB and FAA, the game warden who hiked 8 grueling hours to initially find the wreckage, and especially my crew who came together and faced this extremely challenging task head on. So special thank you to everybody involved, because at the end of the day, it boils down to this: no man gets left behind. Hoorah!